Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. Today, Blake Richardson, EaseAlert. Blake, we spent the day together, bro. A lot of fun.
It was a ton of fun, man. Really enjoyed it.
So we kind of kicked this off several months ago. Not gonna lie, it was a great setting. I bumped into Harrison, one of the guys that works with you for EaseAlert. Approached me at one of my Bridging the Gap presentations. Came up and chatted. And told me about what you guys were doing, and some excitement in his voice, right? And I'm gonna chat with him in a few, and I'm looking forward to that. But what was cool about that was the follow up from you, right? And so next thing you know, we're both in Florida at the same conference together, but we're passing each other. Like you weren't there the day I was actually there, and then the day I was speaking. So it just didn't work out. But you hit me up and you were like, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm actually sitting on the beach with my wife at the moment." Enjoying some downtime.
Yeah.
And you're like, "You mind if I join you for a couple minutes?" So you came out and we had a great conversation. We probably chatted for like a half hour. And we didn't really talk at all about EaseAlert. We talked about us, you, the person, the entrepreneur, the hustler, the guy that doesn't stop, the love having conversation and meeting people and educating people about who you are and what you do. And I enjoyed that. Because I give you a lot back in return.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And I love the conversation, and we were talking about everything business and entrepreneurial and nothing about your company. But fast forward several months later, here we are. You guys spent the day with me in the studio today. We worked on a ton of media marketing projects for you guys and content that's going to get rolled out that we did together, and a lot of your own stuff, which was great. You're a natural on camera, pal. Natural.
You're good. You're a good coach.
It was a fun day. I think what's exciting for you guys, right? And I want to get into EaseAlert. Because I find tremendous value in what you guys are bringing forward, right? You're innovating on a legacy product that we all know. And, but innovation sometimes comes at a cost. And in your case, the innovation, you're piggybacking on legacy station alerting, but there's no cost. The cost is this. The cost is protecting your people from that sudden ramp up that happens with legacy systems. And so you guys have the science and the data behind it, and your product, EaseAlert, right? It's visual, it's tactile, and there is an audio component too for appeasing the people that still love a legacy system.
Yep.
But we went over it all day today, and I'm really enamored by what you guys are doing, because I think you're really looking at the wellness of our firefighters and looking at doing it a different way, maintaining the integrity of the legacy system, but adding on to it in a way that is a much better solution for us.
That's right. Yeah. Not just changing everything, right? We know change is a difficult thing.
Yeah.
We're enhancing what's currently there. But first, before we jump into it, man, I appreciate the opportunity. It's been something that I've been looking forward to for a while. And
yeah,
we had that chance to catch up down on the beach, and now we get a chance to catch up in your turf, and it's been really fun.
Well, I love sharing this with people, right? Because people are always curious about what my every day looks like, you know, and it's cool. And so you guys got a backstage pass today to see what we do here, moving things around. Everything's modular and on carts and filming here. Now we're in the podcast studio doing this, but then we have the whole production area out there and stuff.
That's awesome.
Just a lot of fun. But I appreciate you joining me, but I really appreciate what you guys recognize as important, and that's educating firefighters, right? Sales is sales. Everybody sells. But what are you doing about that? And I working with you guys today and understanding how you educate tomorrow's leaders, right? Like that's the biggest thing is you can be pitching fire chiefs and talking to command staffs and commissioners. You could talk to middle management, which are your company officers, maybe battalion chiefs, right? And then the backstep firefighter. And each has a different approach to it, right? Because this product affects each level within the fire service differently, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And for us, we got to learn too, because we want to educate, but we're always here to learn. And so everything that we do is really informed by the people using it, the people with the boots on the ground who are affected by this day to day. So really for us, we started with a very scientific approach to it. We wanted to make sure, one, we understand this problem front to back as deep as we can scientifically, not just anecdotally. And then two, how can we actually present a real solution for it? So we're really fortunate to have partnered with some of the foremost researchers in this space and some really, really awesome people who are doing great things, and they're helping us really inform the solutions that we put into the field.
Makes sense, right? And so I guess maybe, I don't know what the origin story, like where do we start? Like I'm really curious because I want to learn more about you as well. I'm intrigued because we've had some great conversations and some fun texts back and forth and stuff. So I'm kind of intrigued about yourself and your background and kind of how you got to where you are today. I think makes for a really fun conversation.
Yeah, well, I'm more than happy to talk about it. And, you know, I appreciate the opportunity too. For me, it's something I'm really passionate about. And I actually really started with my dad. He's been a firefighter for the past 22 years. So I got to see from him, you know, firsthand what it's like responding to calls and having to be toned out every hour of the day when you least expect it. So for me, going to the firehouse, kind of hearing those tones and feeling it in my heart, thinking that doesn't feel too great. And I'm not even responding to this call. Like there's got to be a better way to do this. And so that was the initial seed of this long time ago. And ever since then, it's just grown and grown and grown into really what it is today.
That stood out to you at a young age?
Yeah, it did, because that and seeing my dad, you know, come off a shift pretty worn down. You know, it's a stressful job, and there's not much that you can change about it. But that really seemed like it didn't need to be the way that it was. Like we're listening to tones that are so loud that you're startled just from the sound. When I've got a smartwatch, you know, that's been around for 10 years or longer, that can just vibrate and give me the same information. And I initially actually just mentioned it to my mom. We were sitting in the living room before school one day, and my dad just came off a shift, and I was thinking, man, I wonder if like we could just give him a vibration on the wrist instead of actually hearing the tones. And I figured, okay, well, if that is worth anything, or if it would actually work, it's already been done or tried. It's not worth actually pursuing. You know, I'm a high school student, and then had this idea just sitting there for 3 or 4 years. And then in college, I had this entrepreneurship class, pitched it. Actually, I pitched a few other ideas that were terrible.
I love it.
Got voted out of the room. And fortunately, the professor, she gave me another chance to pitch this idea. And that was EaseAlert. And the class thought, yeah, it's good enough. Let's make it, you know, one of the top projects that we focus on for the year. And that was really the beginning of it. Went to the fire department, the St. Augustine Fire Department. Chief Avelley's over there, and said, hey, Chief, this is an idea. What do you think? And he said, yeah, this is definitely worth pursuing. Give it a shot. Go build it. And, you know, just one step after the other, we've gotten to where we are today, 5 years later.
So much there. I think the one thing that really stands out is, well, twofold, right? One, you're saying, I figured there'd just be a better way to do it, right? And the problem is like we get stuck in the way we've always done it, right? In the fire service. And then looking at how to innovate or build out on top of something. I think there's something there. And for you to see that on your father, him carrying that weight of, you know, terrible nights and no sleep and, you know, so on, why can't we control that better? Like that's the thing we were talking about before. And that's my second point of all this, right? Is like, if there's anything we can control, that's one of them. How we alert our firefighters to a job or a medical coming out, right? We can control that. We can't control our firefighters' health and wellness outside of the job. We can have physical fitness requirements. The sleep studies are more than important today, which this goes hand in hand with that, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But you start looking at mental well-being, all these things, we're starting to focus on our firefighters and really saying, we care about your health and wellness. We care about your mental status. We care about your sleep. Those are all things that we can try to control on the job, but some of that we can't. People go home after a 24 or a 10 and 14. So we can't control their sleep habit at home. We can't control their diet or exercise at home. What we can control, the one variable that you could absolutely focus on, and this is what hit me today, was we can focus on how do we alert our firefighters, going from a resting heartbeat to a heart pounding out of your chest because the tones drop for a fire. A lot of that is the message you're receiving, the type of call, but the other part of it too is the actual physical response.
Right. Yeah.
We can control that. EaseAlert controls that.
That's right. Yeah. It doesn't need to be that way. You don't need to get the adrenaline dump from the tones. The adrenaline needs to come because you need to do the job. And those are some of the variables that you can't control. Like you have to respond to stressful scenes. It's going to be high pressure, and you got to do a good job, and you can't afford to mess up. That's not going to change. That's just the nature of the job. It's a difficult job. It's a dangerous job. But the actual alarm, the tones, those don't need to be the thing that are contributing to that adrenaline dump. And so that's really, like, you hit it on the head. What we can control, we should be controlling. And this is absolutely one of those health and wellness initiatives that we should be focusing on as a fire service. And we're obviously biased in that. And we're proud to say that we're making the difference that we're making. But we hope that the rest of the fire service kind of realize that, hey, this is a real controllable variable that can directly improve our wellness and performance when it comes to alarm response.
So interesting, right? I really got a front row view or a firsthand look at what you guys are doing, the technology behind it, the software involvement, right? I mean, it's considerable. Entrepreneurial spirit, I absolutely love that because I'm right there with you. I'd love to hear the other ideas that you pitched that weren't so great. But how about being able to take a college, a thought you had in college about an entrepreneurial journey you could possibly take to better your father's job, to better his career, to better his health?
It's a cool opportunity, man. It's right? Sometimes I have to pinch myself. Like, I figure it's probably the one shot I get at something that I'm this passionate about, that I really get to do day in, day out, and work with awesome people, serve awesome people, and really, I'm really grateful for the opportunity. And
grateful, but it falls on the back of hard work, integrity, character. I mean, all
few
of
lucky
those
bounces.
things.
Yeah, all those things.
You know,
It's
listen,
true.
I'm
It's
a
true.
firm believer we make our luck, man.
Yeah.
You make your luck in life. You know what I mean? And I think it's a lot of fun when you unpack this. This was an idea you had in high school because your father was exhibiting signs, or you thought something could be better for him to get better sleep at night, right? For the alerting, to do something better there and to fall back on something we already know. I mean, volunteer firefighters carry pagers still and they vibrate, right? We have Apple Watches, we have our phones vibrate, like everything's vibration.
Yep.
Right?
We didn't invent the wheel, right? Like tactile. Yeah, like you were saying. It's been around.
It has.
Yeah.
But why haven't we included it in what we do?
Well, it's time to start.
That's right. And that's my point. And that's
Yeah.
why for me, like, I talk to a lot of people and I look at a lot of products, and to have people come in and demonstrate their products with me, it's not uncommon. And for you guys to come here today has been a lot of fun because I really believe there's tremendous worth in this product. Like, I actually think there's a lot here and it's good for our people. So maybe walk me through it a little bit, maybe educate people that are listening. Tactile means what? Like, I'm not very bright, right? So tactile means what?
Yeah, in the simplest definition, tactile just means touch.
Right.
So we have the 5 senses, and for as long as we've been responding to calls in the fire service, we've used 2 senses, which are sight and sound. And now we're introducing the 3rd sense, which is touch, and we're working on the bacon alert. That's going to be your smell, but we haven't gotten there yet. And we're probably not going to use taste ever to respond to calls. But it's time, right, to introduce touch, which is tactile. And that's been a sense that has not been used in terms of alerting. So when you think about the sight and sound, makes sense. It's just kind of been the way it's been done. But there's some kind of limitations to that. Let's say you got hearing protection on, or you have hearing loss or hearing impairments. And now all of a sudden that sound isn't really an effective way to be notified of a call, or you're not looking at the visual cues. You're going to miss it. So that's where that touch really does improve the efficiency and the effectiveness of that alert, to make sure you're not missing it and you're getting out the door as quickly as you can.
Interesting. So many questions, right? Like, I mean, how does it work?
Yeah.
Like, here's my thing, right? I'm thinking like, yeah, okay, station alerting. We all know station alerting. And now we go out the door and I'm not in my station anymore. Obviously, the wireless signal from station 12 across town is not going to get to where I am, right?
Exactly.
However, you have solutions for that too. Because when you talk about like areas of high noise, I think about our morning checks. You go out and you run the saws, or in the volunteer department, you're running the saws and you're on the apron and the apparatus are running. You're pump testing, you're running saws. Like, we have visible strobes like in the bay in case we get a run, right?
Yeah.
Or our pager vibrates on our hip.
Yeah.
Tactile.
Yeah.
Right? So like, I'm thinking, what a great opportunity and way to alert somebody through the sense of touch.
Yeah. Well, so you hit on it with station alerting. That's been kind of the industry standard, is you alert the station to get the responders to respond to the call. And what we're doing is taking station alerting directly to the responder. Firefighter alerting is what we're calling it. And that the importance of that is now you're not just alerting a building with a hardwired system that's stationary and doesn't really evolve over time, even though the department evolves over time. Instead, you're alerting the firefighter, the responder, who may be mowing the yard, they may be working out,
right?
They may be whatever they're doing, checking off the apparatus. Now that's going to be on their person, whether it's the tac pod, which is going to be on the wrist, or whether it's the bunk alert, which is on their bunk itself, or whether it's, you know, wherever they are throughout the station, the firehouse, it goes with them wherever they go.
Well, I love the solutions because it's not just one. You're not offering just one solution, right? From what I saw, it's a wearable, which is on your wrist. It kind of looks like a smartwatch, right? But there's no face or anything on it. It's just a vibratory sensor with an LED light, right? And then you have, if you wear a watch, I mean, a lot of departments are cross-trained, EMS and fire. So if you're riding an ambulance, typically you wear a watch during the day. So you have a clip-on that actually just goes right onto the band. So you can still wear your personal watch, right? But now you have a clip-on that, and it's tiny. I mean, it's a little tiny sensor that goes on, but it makes a big impact when it vibrates, no doubt, right? So that can go on your watch. You also have a wearable that can go around your neck like a dog, like dog tags, or on your belt, right? You can clip it to wherever you want. I think what's really interesting is you're offering a variety of solutions to this, and it's not just one size fits all, because some people would be more comfortable one way than another, but you offer options.
Yeah. Well, we know we can't make everybody happy, but we try to make the most amount of people happy that we can. And that all comes from feedback. So folks have said, hey, I don't want to wear two wristbands. I've got a watch already. What can I do? Okay, you attach it to your existing watch. And then some people say, I don't wear anything on my wrist. How are you still going to alert me? Okay, then wear it as a pendant, a dog tag. And so that all comes from feedback and trying to make it as effective as we can for anybody and everybody who may use it. But it's really been really fun, honestly, to get that feedback, because firefighters are great at giving feedback. There is no bars held when it comes to giving feedback. And that's been great for us. You know, we welcome it with open arms.
Why don't you walk me through the system, right? We're talking about a lot of different things, right? Because not only do you have like wearables where the touch, the tactile, right, the vibration, right, comes into play, and you have bunk alerts, right, for, you know, nighttime, right? Because I'm sure people are like, well, how does it work at night when I'm sleeping? Yeah. But why don't you just walk me through the system from start to finish, kind of like the solution you guys are offering, so people understand what a solution looks like from EaseAlert.
Yeah. So really it comes down to, we have 3 alerting families. We have the tactile, the visual, and the audible. And so within each of those families, we have different products that may work better for certain stations or certain responders. And then all of those 3 families are alerted by the command and control family. And so you think about command and control, that's going to be per station. You'll have what we call our central command unit. That'll send the alert out to all the devices wirelessly. And whether you have devices from the tactile family, the visual family, or the audible family, all of those will communicate from that central command unit. And then at each bunk room, we can have the peripheral control unit, which is the PCU. That'll allow you to pick, okay, I'm on the rescue tonight. Only wake me up if the rescue gets a call. Or I'm on the engine, or I'm maybe the BC, and I want to know anytime anybody gets a call, and I'm going to be woken up for every call. Okay, press all call.
So you're telling me the PCU then is an individual based, that's what sets the individual filters for each firefighter.
Yeah, exactly.
So if I walk in, if we have separate bunk rooms in my firehouse, I walk in and I know I'm on engine 1 for the tour. I just click engine 1. I go to bed that night. The lights and the alerting, the tactile, the lights, and even if I have ramp up audio, whatever it is in the room, only goes off when my company gets toned out.
That's right.
And I don't get woken up for any other companies going out the door.
Nope.
What if we're in a large bunk room? I mean, a lot of older firehouses just have that one bunk room, right? We don't have individual bunk rooms.
Yeah.
So I got 12 beds in one room. Still works?
Yeah. It's really designed kind of for that, because the PCU just plugs into the wall. So you just plug it in. You don't need to wire it to a head end or anything like that. And then at each bunk, you have one PCU, which says, okay, these are the units you want to assign to. Easy. And then something to think about too is if, let's say, you forget to assign your unit or your crew.
Right.
We program it to make sure that that PCU at the end of each shift goes back to an all call so that you're going to be alerted
No matter what.
no matter what.
Yeah.
Until you pick your unit. That way we make sure you're not missing
It's a
a call.
good way to remember to pick, right?
Exactly.
After it goes off the first time in the middle of the night, you go, oh,
Yeah, you're
man, I
waking up to
never
the rescue
selected.
call. No. Change that back to the engine.
This is really fascinating. So what I love about this is when we talk about the health and wellness of our own members then, right? The big thing is nighttime. I was always thinking like, okay, I get it. Vibration and lighting, right? It's part of like, okay, I'm awake during the day. I get it. At night, how does it vibrate me awake, right? Like,
Yeah.
But you have something that could also shake our bunks.
Exactly. Yeah. That came from a real heavy sleeper. It was like, hey, that wearable, man, that vibration on the wrist, the tac pod, that's cool, but that's not going to wake me up.
Right.
Okay. So then we said, all right, well, how do you want to wake up? He said, the tactile makes a lot of sense, but I need something stronger. So that's where we actually created the bunk alert, which is going to shake your bed. And so that's a vibration motor, attaches right to the bed frame, and it's customizable. If you're a really heavy sleeper, turn it up to 100. Earthquake mode, that'll shake you right out of the bed, put you in the apparatus. If you're a lighter sleeper, still want the tactile alert, maybe you don't want to wear the tac pod on your wrist, you just turn it down to 1 or anywhere in between, and then it can be changed from shift to shift. So if C shift comes in and they say, no, I don't want any bunk alert, I just want the light. Okay, just turn off the bunk alert. You're still going to get the light, no problem. So that's where that bunk alert came in. It's going to shake you and make sure you wake up no matter what.
I love it then because the PCU, it's individual for the firefighter. And you mentioned that earlier, right?
Yep.
You said, the legacy systems alert the building.
Yeah.
What EaseAlert is doing is alerting the firefighter.
Right.
Interesting.
Right.
So then take me through it. Okay, we just went through that. What's next? You have what, lighting?
Yep. So we have lighting as well. So that's part of the visual family of products. We have LED strips, your standard red lighting that we can do. The importance behind it is it's all just plug and play. So it's a fully wireless system. You just plug it in.
I don't have to run wires or cabling through my firehouse. I don't have to punch holes in the ceiling or walls.
Nope. It's easy. Yep.
Wow.
You just plug it right into power because it has the wireless communication from the central command unit. That's CCU. So all you need is power wherever you are, and that'll activate those devices wherever you go. And you can have really any device that can activate from a relay contact can be activated from our system.
That's cool. So then, okay, tactile and lighting, and then what'd you say? Audio, right?
Yep. That's the third family. So then we've got,
and that's what we know, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's
exactly.
The lights come on and the tones go out.
Yep.
And there's typically it goes from 0 to 100 like that.
That's right. Yeah. And so in the Audible family, we still really want to prioritize the wellness part of the alerting process, but we understand that Audible is still a really important factor of that. So we have just a ramp up tone. You've heard these, you've seen these, but the difference is, of course, it's wireless. So it's just connected to our, receiver that's going to be plugged into a wall outlet wherever you are. And you can play a pre-programmed wave file, whatever, ramp up tone you want it to be. And there you go, play that. And it's still going to give you your Audible. The other part of the Audible is we have automated voice dispatching. So when you get dispatched, that will actually give you the information of the call. So the nature, crews assigned, where you're going, any emergency notes, all just automated voice.
So is this more work than on a dispatcher? Like, does House Watch have to do this, or does dispatch have to click any, like, is this integrated, or is this like an add-on? Like, how does it work?
Yeah, so we really just tie right in to what you already have.
Like you piggyback on like existing systems.
Exactly, yeah. So we can just pull your CAD information, so your dispatchers don't have to do anything differently. If you don't already have a CAD, then we can set up on a dispatch console to where the dispatchers just type that information or just click it right into our dispatch console. So it just depends on your setup, but we try to make it as seamless and effortless as possible when it comes to integrating things. We never want to change how you do things. We just want to enhance the response.
This is wild, right? My brain is just, it's how it works, right? I mean, there's so much here, but like, I'm going to be honest, right? How do you know this actually makes a difference?
Yeah.
Like, I get it. It makes sense, right? It makes sense. But like, what is the worth? Like, why would I want to switch my department or bring this in to complement what we already have? Like, you got science?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a great question. That's where we started as well. We want to make sure that it actually is a problem and that we actually can solve it. So the real nugget that kind of sent us on this path from the problem side of things is that firefighters are up to 14.1 times more likely to die of coronary heart disease during alarm response than non-emergency duties. And so just from the time you hear the tones to the time you arrive on the scene of the emergency, up to 14.1 times more likely. And that was kind of the wow, alarm bells. This is a problem, real problem we got to solve. And this is the window that we need to address it within. And so we started looking at how can we address that and how can we measure that. So then we actually partnered with the Center for Fire Rescue and EMS Health Research and Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. Some awesome researchers from that team who have been just phenomenal in really getting to the bottom of what we're trying to solve here. And we partnered up with a couple of fire departments out in the Midwest who have actually said, okay, let's put your product in and get some data on it. And this was an NIH-funded clinical trial, which looked at before what was the impact of the alerting system and after, meaning with EaseAlert. So we saw actually the self-reported health of the alerting process for these firefighters or emergency responders improved by 169% compared to the traditional system. So that's them going in and saying, hey, this system affects me on a scale of 0 to 100 here. And then with EaseAlert, it's here. And that's a 169% difference. So we're really excited to see that. And then some other subjective data we saw was around the actual like satisfaction of the system. So getting firefighters to agree on anything like, dinner, whatever it might be, is never easy. We saw 90% agreement, 95% agreement. That is less startling. That it improves their response capabilities. Like, we were blown away by those statistics.
I was going to ask, I mean, that has to be quite a moment for you as the founder of this product to then validate your thoughts through science has got to be pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, it was really, really special. And we're still digging, we're doing a follow-on or applying for a follow-on clinical trial now to learn more about it. But yeah, man, it's, going back to really grateful for that. It's like, sometimes you have to stop and breathe and realize like, okay, we've done a lot here and we've moved over a lot of ground and there's a lot of ground to cover as well. But it was pretty special to see that data come out and more importantly, to hear the feedback from the people who are using it. And they're still using it and they're saying, hey, we want more. We want this. Give us this. And we're like, let's do it. We've got the engineering team behind it is really charged up about it as well, just ready to make whatever we need to make and get it done. So yeah, it's special. It's definitely special. I'm grateful for it and excited for the next steps.
There's a lot of parts, a lot of moving parts here, right? And I think one of the biggest challenges that you guys have as a company, right, is educating firefighters and the people that make decisions why this matters.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because like everything, we've done it this way for so long. We've always done it that way, right? When we get in a tone, with some crackling loudspeaker goes off, the tones get loud and the lights come on and we leave.
Yeah.
Right? And so we've always done it that way. Why do we need to change that today? Right?
Yeah.
So for you guys, there's a tremendous education piece that you have to offer potential customers.
Right.
There's a big part in that. And it comes down to sales, right? You talked about engineering, the science and data, right? But the sales aspect, it's not even so much sales. I think your salespeople, and we're going to bring Harrison in a minute, they're more an educator than I think sales. Sales is finishing up quotes and getting projects done and POs, right?
Yeah.
That's the easy part. It truly is. The hard part is education and walking through potential clients what the benefit is and then how to build out on their existing system and using EaseAlert product.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and you hit on it, too. Like, with each fire department, when you've seen one, you've seen one. I mean, that's so true. You've heard that so many times.
Yeah.
And that's so true. For us, we say, yeah, we need to educate, but a lot of it is we need to learn.
Yeah.
We need to learn as much as we can. We're always trying to intake information, take feedback, learn from others, and see what has been done successfully or unsuccessfully and what people want and need and how the fire service is evolving and changing. We know that there's more and more EMS calls and fewer responders to respond to those calls. And so how do we make the firefighter, the emergency responder, more capable, more ready, and able to scale with the growing needs and reduce workforce in a lot of ways? So yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that, we're, again, not trying to change things, not trying to take everything and dump it upside down. We're just trying to enhance what's currently happening. And we've seen this before, Jeremy. I mean, think about the SCBA, right? It wasn't long ago that wasn't common. And now, of course, anywhere in the world that you see a fire, there's a firefighter with an SCBA going in there.
I look at it this way. You guys are like seatbelts.
Yeah. Yeah.
like, SCBA is one thing, turnout gear, thermal imaging cameras. Like, there's been moments in the
Sure.
history of the fire service.
Yeah.
But I look at, we've always had seatbelts, we just never wore them. And now we're making a conscious effort to try to wear them as much as possible.
Yeah.
Meaning we're using something that exists to better our situation.
Yeah, that's a brilliant analogy. I hadn't ever thought about that before.
I don't know about
think
brilliant.
I mean, I
don't
like
think
it.
anybody's ever used brilliant in the same word as me, but I appreciate that. But,
well, I like it too because it puts us in a good light. So a little bit biased there, but
it makes sense, doesn't
I agree,
it?
man. Yeah, it does because we're not creating something new. We're not creating the SCBA.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like you guys are looking at a current situation saying we could do this better.
Yeah, right.
It's like looking at
right.
apparatus accidents and saying, well, if our guys are seatbelted, they have a much better chance of surviving or walking away from that wreck, right?
Exactly.
And we know that happens.
Yeah.
We also know that sometimes going to fires, we have to get our SCBA on or we have to do things in a cab. We don't have a seatbelt on. That's real talk, right?
Yeah.
But ultimately, we have that tool available.
Right.
Use it.
Right. It's there. Yeah, it's been around and we know it's effective. And
Yes.
it's physiology. It's how your body responds. Like and we've been wired this way for as long as we've been humans. When you hear a sound, you're going to respond to that. When you hear a loud sound, your body's going to have a fight or flight. That's just how it goes. When somebody taps you on the shoulder, you're more likely to respond to that. And it's not going to be as startling. Like it's not groundbreaking science there, but what we are doing that's a little bit different is we're creating purpose-built devices for firefighters. So we're not taking something off the shelf and saying, pop this on your wrist and wear it for your tour. We know that the fire service is unique and it's rugged. And if it can be broken, it will be broken.
Yeah, we'll break it.
And there's no doubt about that. And we have a standing bet. My dad and our engineering team has a standing bet that if we make a firefighter-proof product, he'll owe us a 6-pack. We still haven't cashed in on that 6-pack, but we're getting closer and closer with each iteration. But yeah, I mean, that's what it really is. Like the vibration alerts, the tactile alerts, it's nothing too crazy, but we have been able to put together a pretty special, intellectual property around it. So we've got a few patents around the system.
Yeah.
And we're really taking what has been in the field in the world and introducing it in a new way, in a new method by delivering that tactile alert directly to a responder.
It's exciting. It's the next chapter, right? And I think what is the proof in the pudding, and this is kind of how I want to segue to getting Harrison to join me for a few minutes, is looking at the exposure and sales that have been happening as you continually educate. Your numbers are starting to move.
Yep.
And so the needle's moving, meaning there's a movement behind what you're doing. People are recognizing the importance of your product and what it's doing for our people. And that is represented by you entering the market and growing quarter after quarter. And that's exciting.
Yeah, it is. It's gratifying because like you said, there's a lot of hard work that goes into it. Of course. And it, when people say like, oh, this happened overnight, of course it was a 10-year overnight success, right?
10-year overnight. Yeah.
But it's really gratifying. And the way I like to measure is in the impact to the firefighters. So we see how many alerts we've delivered. So we actually crossed over 200,000 alerts delivered to emergency responders in the United States. And that's pretty cool to think about, man. Like coming from an idea in high school to a pitch in college to here we are today, an actual, player in the industry where we're actually working with emergency responders and, responding to calls from our system. It's pretty cool to see for sure. And I'd love to get Harrison in.
I love it. Well, let's bring Harrison in.
Yeah.
Why don't you step out? We'll get Harrison in and then we'll get some info from him and see what his thoughts are. You're good. You can move that light out of the way if you need to. It's fine. It's a working set here, so no big deal. Harrison, thanks for joining me, man. Pull that mic right in close.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So great day. Pull it closer. Move it down. Make it happen.
A little shorter than Blake.
Yeah, well, that's all right. You're a little louder than him, though, so you're allowed to have
I'll
it a
try.
few inches away. So give me a little rundown yourself. You just unplugged my light back there. This place is falling apart. So let me ask you this, right? We were talking about the product and the. Yeah. I think so much of what you do, and you and I had some great conversations today and last night. It comes down to education.
Yeah.
And so I watched today you talk with some people about the product and so on, and really got a great sense of how educated you are on the product. And I think that that's important. Where does that come from you? I mean, this wasn't your IP. This wasn't your idea, right? Your college project. So why do you have such buy-in on this?
So background on myself, I've been in the fire service for 10 years. I'm in a department probably no more than 20, 25 minutes north of where we are right now. Started off probably this point almost 20-something years ago, visiting my uncle's first firehouse in Woodside, Queens. He's now a captain on the job down in the city. And I kind of knew something I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Being a volunteer fireman allows me to kind of balance two aspects of my life. And I've met my closest friends, experienced and seen and done things that most people in the world never will get to. But another one of the co-founders, who's just not with us today right now, Elazar, and I actually were in mechanical engineering school together at the University of Florida. That was my first kind of introduction to the product. Saw them go through some innovation conferences and always kept tabs on them. I was doing my own thing, bouncing between some sales roles through COVID. And the timing it lined up perfectly. I wound up, exiting a job unexpectedly. Happened to call Blake and, said, "Hey, I'm all in. What do I got to do?"
Yeah.
And that was just about a year ago now. And that's how we're kind of where we are. I mean, like you talked about, you're in the volunteer fire service. You've been in there for a long time. Pagers, it's our norm. I deal with it all the time. It happens, quite a few times a week. Get woken up in the middle of the night by that same, god-awful Motorola middle alert tone that you know as well as I do. And, you just know what it does to you. I mean, we first have to get dressed, get out to your car, drive to the firehouse, and get on the rig. So adding a few other steps between, us and the career guys, but knowing what it's done to me, I know what it does to a guy that lives that, 2-3 nights a week for the entirety of his 25-year career.
Sure.
So, I mean, I've only done it for 10 years in a smaller fashion, but these guys are doing it day in and day out. And it's just something that I wanted to be involved in. And it's something I know that, like Blake said, we know there's a problem. We know there's ways to get around it. And now we've developed the solution. We're continuing to develop that solution. And it's been cool to be on this end, bringing kind of my personal background in the fire service and my sales background and kind of being able to just talk about it with people like you, with chiefs throughout the country and the world, and just teach them about, hey, we all know this is a problem. Let's talk about the solution.
Do we all know it's a problem though? And like that's why I think we're getting there. I think we're in a really good spot today in the fire service where we understand the importance of health and wellness for our own people. We're focusing on that more than ever, right? And we talk about sleep. And I just saw one department switch to the 24/72 schedule. They went from 56 hours a week down to 42 hours a week because of that, or however that works out. And what I'm fascinated by is like that's a department that saw the benefit for health and improvement for their own people. I think what you guys are doing and the conversation and stories that you're telling, and coupled with the science and the education behind it, you guys are bringing forth a whole new idea that, hey, we can control this, right? Like this is something that we want to make sure people know. If they don't know already, we want to educate them.
100%. Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, it's things that are normal to us in the fire service. This is just how we've always done it. Tradition is deep rooted in the fire service.
Of course.
It always takes a better understanding of it as a whole, maybe taking a step back, maybe having somebody on the outside looking in, kind of like Blake was. His father was on the job, and it took someone on the outside to say, this doesn't make sense.
Oh, I like that.
So,
yeah.
For us, you and I, it's our day-to-day. We live it. We've lived it for years, and it just becomes part of our everyday. But when somebody on the outside says, guys, take a second, stop. Like, do you really think this is the right way to do this? And it's now through conversations that I have, that you and I have had, and that we'll continue to have, is to educate people that, hey, think about this for a second. You use something like this in every other facet of your life. Why has that not been introduced to your career?
Right.
It's something so simple. I mean, your phone, your smartwatch, everything else vibrates. Why has it not been brought here?
Yeah. I'm really fascinated by that. I mean, it seems like such a simple solution, right? And it's like, how come nobody else has done it or have seen it, right? Or why has it not taken a hold? But I think what's exciting is you guys have tremendous momentum moving forward right now. For you, it's, the sales aspect of it is really an education piece, right? It's going out there and educating people that, yes, legacy systems are legacy for a reason. However, we have something more that can add to that legacy system that will make it better for your people. It is a no-brainer. There's no doubt. I think about one of the biggest selling points is you think about a lot of, older fire stations have those just abrupt, loud systems. And you usually don't have the individual bunk rooms, and you have a large bunk room with, if you're running maybe 3 companies and an ambulance out of there, say it's an engine, a rescue, and a truck, and then you have an ambulance or 2 ambulances and a battalion chief, right? And all these things, right? All these layers. So often in so many urban centers, you're finding that the whole house is being woken for an engine run when the truck doesn't do medicals, but the engine's going out maybe with an ambulance or something like that. So the whole house is being disturbed. We know how important sleep is for our members. We know how sleep-deprived firefighters are.
Yeah.
If we can allow for better rest by having a system in place that doesn't disturb people that don't need to be disturbed and woken, it's an absolute win.
Yeah. I mean, it's a home run. I mean, there's been plenty of times that I've talked to firemen and officers throughout the country. It's the same thing, that there's so much technology that we use right now that allows you to only dispatch specific people. How come we haven't broken that down to other avenues and other layers and levels for the alerting process?
Yeah.
I mean, most rigs throughout the country have MDTs. They have CAD. The information can get as detailed as humanly possible. Why is it not matriculated to the back end where getting people up at night, that if you're not going out, there's no need to wake up? I mean, we could be in the same bunk room, and with something as simple as, what we've touched on throughout the day today, with something as simple as the TAC pod that you can wear on your wrist, wear around your neck, or even the bunk alert. Something as simple as that, you and I could be in bunks that are, a foot or 2 away from each other.
Yeah.
And I would be woken up at 2, 3 in the morning, and you would have no idea.
Right.
I mean, it's something that when you talk about it like that, and in the casual conversation we're having now, it's like that makes complete sense.
It does.
And it's
and we can control it.
Yeah, exactly. It's something that we very easily can come in and solve in a very quick and simple manner.
When you speak about this product and the process, right, and the science and all that, I've noticed today you're very passionate about the product, right, and what you guys are doing. Why? Why is it seems like it's become more of a passion project for you than just a job, right? Yeah. And I'm curious because, listen, as an employer, I love that, right? You want your people bought in. Is it just because of the impact that you're making? Do you recognize the importance? Like, what is it? What is it for you?
So I think recently one of the most gratifying and coolest things that I had the chance to be involved in was we installed our system in a limited capacity for a firefighter in DeLand, Florida. Her name's Carly. She's hard of hearing. We started talking to her through a connection Blake had made to the chief of the department there. And we learned that her first few tours, I mean, she quite literally stayed up her entire 24. She didn't sleep.
Terrified
because
to miss
she
a
was
run.
so scared that she was going to be, that probie that doesn't get up and doesn't get on the rig, and they go out without her. We were able to come in and provide her a solution that not only alerted her more effectively, even if it wasn't with her being hard of hearing. We offered her a solution that was non-audible, that was solely reliant on tactile, the vibrations, either on her wrist or in her bunk, and the visual alerts.
Fascinating.
And just hearing her talk after we did that installation, it was one of the coolest things to me. I mean, like I talked about before, I mean, when I first, was visiting my uncle down in the city at his first firehouse, it was like, I want to do this. And, we all talk about all the time that the little kids that come around the firehouse and doing the right thing by them, showing them the rig, giving them the hat. Those kids grow up with a positive, look on the fire service, and they know that that's what they want to do. This is somebody that grew up knowing what she wanted to do, but she had a roadblock in her life, something that she was born with that she couldn't control. To be able to come in and to help her achieve a lifelong goal. I mean, it was one of the coolest things that I have ever felt, because I knew that I was that little kid that grew up wanting to be a fireman.
Sure.
And knowing that we as a company, Blake and us as a whole were able to do that and help her live and work comfortably and not have to live her entire career stressed.
It's a moment, man.
That was like the moment for me.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things where it's like, this isn't even just, making an impact to the fire service as a whole. It's breaking that down into, you're putting a face to that impact and seeing what it's truly done for somebody. And it's that same feeling of knowing that, you saw your dad grow up in the fire service. You knew you wanted to do it. You've done it. You've built National Fire Radio. I saw my uncle, and I'm now 10 years in the fire service, and it's, now it's my everyday. But being able to help somebody achieve that goal, it's you can't put a dollar value on that. You really can't.
Well, I would agree with you. And I think when you can make an impact like that, that is a real testament to what you guys are doing with EaseAlert. I mean, you are making it better for everyone.
Yeah.
You just are. And I really hope that the intent of this today, especially this episode, right, is to get the word out about a product that I truly believe is better for our people, period.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Harrison, I appreciate you sharing that with me. And, it's quite a personal story, and I'm sure it's a tremendous success for all you guys at EaseAlert, no doubt, know?
I mean, it's just a testament to, you hear it all the time. I mean, the real firemen, the real down and dirty firemen, all they want to do is leave, their firehouse, their company, the fire service as a whole better than they found it. That's the main goal. And I think that's why it means so much to me, being a part of that next big thing in the fire service. I mean, turnout gear, ticks.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Gear. I mean, it's cool to be on the front lines, and one day I hope people to look back on everything we're doing now and know that I was part of that. And that's why it's
exciting.
Yeah, it really is.
It is. And I love that, right? And that's a big part of, like, for me too. It's like a lot of the things that I do are done because I believe we're leaving a stamp on the fire service. And I like to think that whatever we're doing, we're just making it a little bit better, right? And there's so much to that. And I think, a lot of companies come and go in the fire service, a lot of manufacturers and OEMs come and go. This is fascinating to me. What you guys are doing at EaseAlert is fascinating, because you are focusing on our people, period.
Yeah. Like,
it doesn't get any better than that. And so I would challenge people that if you're listening to this episode to really explore the information. And I guess I want to bring Blake back in to kind of wrap and talk about that part of it. But, I think bringing forth information and doing your homework, I think firefighters today are better educated than ever before. I think they're looking for alternatives. They're more open to different solutions or innovations than ever before in the fire service.
Yeah.
And as much as we say, like, this is how we've always done it, it's not really a problem in today's fire service.
Yeah.
I find that the younger generations are excitable and looking for other ways of doing things, sometimes to the detriment of the fire service. I'm not going to lie. But other aspects like this is something that, again, it piggybacks on what we know to be solid.
Yeah.
And so this just takes it to the next level.
100%. I mean, firefighting will always be a human job.
Yeah.
You can't replace us. And if we don't do right by our people now and in the future, it's only going to be a detriment.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to do what's right now and make it better for guys now and in the long run.
I love it. Well, I think you guys got a long road ahead. I think, or not in a good way. I mean, like longevity in, building out, tactile alerting throughout firehouses across the country. I think there's plenty of opportunity here for you guys, and I think you're doing it the right way through education and health and wellness. It's the way to be. So Thank you, Harrison. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining me. Yeah, good. All right, Blake's coming back. So round two. Well, I want to talk about just a couple things before we kind of wrap, right? Yeah. Made in the USA.
That's right.
It's your product, meaning you guys are. I was shocked when I asked you. I was like, "Oh, who's PLC? Who's this? Who's that?" And you're like, "Oh, these are ours." Like, other than the screen, it's like it's proprietary to us. Like, you guys manufacture right here in the United States. That's got to be a proud item for you as well, I have to think.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to us. One, it's good for business because we have control over the total supply chain in terms of how we build things and what we put out in the field. When someone says, "Hey, I need something next week,"
yeah,
we can do that.
That's right.
But I think even more importantly, the team around it, we have a lot of pride in what we've built and what we've developed. And when someone says, we want this feature, we want this capability, well, we've designed the whole system from front to back. So we know how to enhance it, how to add that in, and really just feed it into the product roadmap. So yeah, made in the USA, all manufactured here in the States, in our headquarters in Tampa Bay, Florida.
Very receptive. I know you guys are eager to talk with people that are interested or even follow-ups with your clients, your existing clients. And in fact, I know through conversation, you guys have said that many clients started on one level and they've been scaling their system as they go.
Yep.
Which brings me to the next talking point for you guys. It's really an a la carte menu, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So how does that really work?
Yeah, I mean, the whole system is modular. So when you set up the central command unit at the firehouse, you can put one device or 100 devices at that station. And so you could do it today. You could have another 50 in a week. It really depends on how you want to roll it out. So we've seen quite a few departments say, okay, this is interesting. It's cool. I believe in it. I want to do it, but I want to try it out at my busiest station first. So they put it at their busy house. And then everybody says, Chief, we need this at station 3. Bring it to us at station 6. Why aren't we seeing this at station 9? And then they come back and say, hey, let's start rolling these out. And for us, we're happy to do that. Easy for us to integrate from a scalable perspective. So it's something that the system being wireless and modular really does play into that favor of being able to scale up with the department's needs.
Well, I know in a lot of conversations that I've had too, departments that are using it or have utilized it, they have seen tremendous value in it. And that's the thing. It's not like it's something else to add to the list of things that we already have to do.
Right. Yeah.
This is actually a beneficial aid to our everyday.
Yeah.
And that departments that have tried it or field tested it or started with just a few units here or there, they typically scale into their entire department and then they start to up the other products as well.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
and
fun.
We're always adding more too. Yeah, it is fun. And it keeps us on our toes, keeps the product development rolling and into the next thing, and keeps us in touch with our clients that we work with from, fire departments ranging from, small one station, single company fire departments all the way up to, Metro or DOD, large installations now that we're supplying for, and completely different needs from every range of the spectrum. So for us, it's important to be able to address those needs, and we take a lot of pride in our customer service as well. So when you jump on with EaseAlert, we're with you, every step of the way. It's not we install it, see you later. It's because we know too, you have a lot of change, and you have maybe one person who was in this role who knew how to do it.
Right.
And all of a sudden they're not there anymore. What do we do?
Right.
Well, it's going to start collecting dust. So we want to make sure that we're always training, always educating, always learning how to improve it and expand it. But yeah, that's definitely something we're really excited about, is continuing to grow with those fire departments.
So while we were chatting earlier, I was like, wrap my brain around it now that I have a good understanding of it, right? And so on. And I'm wrapping my brain around it. And I said to you, man, there's a lot of other opportunities with this product.
Yeah.
Right. And so we just started going down the list of things. And yes, you guys are absolutely fire department focused, if you will. However, when you start thinking about other industries or agencies that use alerting, right? You look at EMS stations, paramedic stations, medevac, like the flight nurses and flight doctors and flight crews. Yeah. You look at the Coast Guard. I was like, what about the Coast Guard? Those helicopter crews, right? After what just happened in Texas and so on, and being credited with all those saves, they ramp up at a moment's notice, right? So it's to have that type of alerting, right? I mean, I'm even thinking police department, special teams. When there's an activation or an alert for, the ERT team or the SWAT team or something so there really is, when you think about what this technology can do across the board, it's pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah, it can kind of get overwhelming when you think about, okay, where do you start? Where do you stop? And making sure that we catch one rabbit instead of trying to catch 8 and catching 0. But we know
Focus.
that we got to focus.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah. You do one thing at a time, right, Jeremy?
miles an hour, my man.
But it's important for us. We have lot of passion for the fire service. You can hear it in Harrison's voice. You can hopefully hear it in my voice. And it's something that we care a lot about and we know we have a real solution for. But when you talk about the other markets, like, yeah, of course. I mean, any response agency that needs to be notified and ready at a moment's notice, well, would it help to be less stressed? Would it help to be more effective? Yes. Okay, then it'll probably work for you. So we've talked to some helicopter EMS, medevac agencies. Actually, one of our customers is a maritime research vessel. So there's so many use cases for this, and really, when you think about any,
that's cool.
That's very cool. It's a great story. They had a researcher who was coming onto the boat who was hearing impaired, and they had a general alarm, loud klaxon. We all know it, and that was the only way they could really alert people. So they said, "Hey, give us some of that tactile alerting." So we did that. And then they were doing some tests with it, and one of their crew members was down in the engine room. He missed the call, missed the test alert. Okay, well, maybe we need this for everybody because down in the engine room, it's pretty loud. It's hard to hear things. So there's just kind of it just has mushroomed out into so many use cases. Definitely focusing on the fire service, but definitely not opposed to anywhere that we can help and provide that value.
Well, and I think that's it. It's value added, 100%, right? And the meeting we had earlier today, it was fun to get feedback onto, from what the product looks like and what people understand it to be. And then watching you two guys go down the rabbit hole of like education and bringing forward the fact that you bring value to the firefighters' daily life.
I mean, we have to, otherwise we won't exist. We'll be out of here pretty quickly if we're not actually providing value. So yeah, we're always continually looking to improve, and how can we provide value? How can we do it in a way that's better?
So that rolls into my night. What's next?
Well, we've got a pretty big development coming up on the product side that we're really excited about.
Cool.
Where we're taking the system that we currently have and really just augmenting it with all the feedback that we're getting from the 200,000 alerts we've delivered. There's probably been 200,000 pieces of feedback,
I'm sure,
positive and negative.
I'm sure.
And we take it all in, and that's really informed the next generation of what we're rolling out. But we want to make sure that with each generation, we're not reinventing the wheel, keeping it simple, keeping it effective, making sure that number one, it's actually working. Number two, it's actually solving a real problem. And number three, it's going to actually take you to where you want to be as a firefighter and, help us be proud of what we're rolling out. So that's kind of the next side on the product side. From a company, we're just continually looking to grow and expand, see where we can continue to make impacts. And as you mentioned, a lot of fire departments that we started with are coming on for one station or two stations. So going back to them and saying, hey, you've had it for this amount of time. Here's some of the benefits. Here's some of the shortcomings. Let's improve it. And so just expanding, where we are and continuing to grow. It's a pretty exciting time to be at right now. And hopefully next time we're on here, we got more to talk about.
Bro, you're an excitable guy. You've been here all day smiling and laughing, and you've done
it's fun, man. It's a good environment.
Of the work today. Right?
I don't know about that. But I've been talking.
I'll say this, right? From getting to know a little bit of your origin story now and understanding how personal this project is for you, you ever take a time out and just go like, this is pretty cool?
This is a pretty cool experience right here. And opportunities like this allow me to kind of peel back, get up to 30,000 feet and see like, oh shit, it's pretty cool what's going on. It's pretty cool to think about what we're doing. And yeah, maybe we've got a hell of a road in front of us, but that's fine. Enjoy the journey. Everybody says the destination is the journey and all that good stuff. I do believe that.
I love the process.
I love the process. You got to. And as frustrating and challenging as it can be, that's what we're here for. That's what it's all about, is that man in the arena.
Yep.
The Teddy Roosevelt quote. Yeah. So do I get a chance? Of course, man. And being around Harrison and being around the rest of our team, man, we have some phenomenal people on this team who care so much. And that's what gets me out of bed every morning with, a smile and the energy.
And I can say this, seeing it firsthand today, that's no smoke. Like this is who you truly are, which is, I think, just incredible. I think you're a really good human being.
Well, I appreciate that.
And I think that comes through in the product and the education and truly doing this for the right reasons of making things better for firefighters.
Well, yeah. I mean, I appreciate that a lot, especially coming from you. I mean, I try to surround myself, and I'm fortunate enough to have people like Harrison and Dom and Everett and people on the team back home who are, getting this work done and doing it for the right reasons. And Elazar, like you mentioned, to help get it off the ground. Like really, really phenomenal people, from investor to team member to client to my dad, coming to trade shows.
I love it.
It's really shaped me a lot and helped EaseAlert get to where it is. So yeah, it's been a hell of a ride. there's a hell of a ride in front of us, and I can't wait. I'm strapped in.
You're just scratching the surface, pal.
God, yeah.
You got an incredible 12 months ahead, I'm sure, and then the future from there. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for joining me today in the studio and hanging with me all day. And
well, I appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
With the stuff we did today, for sure. Just let everybody know where they can find you guys, where they can get more information, maybe some data and things like that that can help support maybe a backstep firefighter bringing this up the line a little bit, or maybe just educating a chief on what he could be doing to build out on his legacy system. Where can people find all this data?
Yeah, I mean, the best place is just our website. It's EaseAlert.com, EaseAlert. And if you don't find what you're looking for there, just reach out to me directly. It's 813-421-0085. We'd love to talk to you. We want to hear from you and see, because we know your problems are probably unique, but also there's probably a department somewhere else that has similar problems that we can, maybe piggyback on and take some of those learnings to help what you're working with. So website, phone number, and then shoot an email to just Blake@EaseAlert.com or Harrison at EaseAlert.com. Fill up his inbox. He doesn't have enough work on his plate.
That's perfect.
But
that's perfect.
That's it. And then we're on Instagram, and then LinkedIn, Facebook, just at EaseAlert or at EaseAlert FFAS. Give us a like, give us a follow, shoot us a DM.
There you go, right?
Getting the socials spun up. But yeah, we appreciate any outreach.
Well, good. And that's what's exciting, right? And that's what we were working on today, is creating a campaign of awareness and education so that more firefighters could become interested in something that they might not know that exists.
Yeah.
A lot of firefighters are looking for solutions to the way we do things, and maybe there's a better way to do it as technology innovates. And I think that's exactly what you guys have done here. And so thank you so much for joining me today, man. It was an absolute honor to have you here, Blake. And Harrison, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. And for everybody listening, for more information, EaseAlert.com. It's your best place to go. They have a YouTube page as well with some explanatory videos. And we're going to have a lot of content, not just this episode, but we shot a lot of content today, really dissecting the science and the technology behind what EaseAlert is doing for today's firefighters. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. And like I say at the end of every single episode, take this conversation, take it back to the firehouse and talk about it, because when we're talking about the job, we're making the job better.
That's
we'll
right.
See you at the next one. Jeremy, National Fire Radio.